29 of my autoimmune paleo little journey here, and today I wanted to go over some of the cookbooks that have really helped me throughout this whole time, as well as what I've eaten for the last few days. So yeah, day 29. I felt like these 29 days went faster than the whole 30 ones, which is great, but the whole 30 ones I felt a significant amount of difference where like I went from like feeling to like yay, whereas this time it's been a lot more subtle of changes. And again, it's because I did the whole 30 prior to this, so I don't think I'm gonna be feeling any major changes, but every day I do feel a little bit better and a little bit better. So that's really good news to me. I plan on doing this for another few weeks before I start reintroducing some stuff. I still have a little gas and bloating, a little brain fog, and I'm still having a little harder time waking up in the mornings on some mornings. This morning I got up at 6 and did yoga. I don't know why some days that happens and some days it doesn't, but I'm happy with it, so we'll just go with it. But yeah, 6 weeks tends to be where I usually seem to notice a huge difference and where I find like my baseline of like greatness is, and so I will probably start reintroductions at that point in time. All right, on to the cookbooks I've used. So if you've been watching me throughout the rest of this autoimmune paleo effort, you have noticed I've been using a lot more cookbooks than usual. A lot of times I use recipes in my head or I use things online, but I've been kind of relying on cookbooks just because it's been easier for me to just look at the pictures and figure it out and meal plan that way rather than just like looking online. It's not that you have to do it that way, it's just been easier for me. And it's just been easier to find out recipes that my whole family might like, so I can show them a picture and be like, hey, you guys wanna try this? But so these are the ones that I've really enjoyed. Number one is this Autoimmune Paleo Cookbook. This one came out before I did Autoimmune Paleo last time in 2014, and it is a really great book. There's some recipes in here that I rely on. So this book I would say is more meant for someone who's doing AIP by themselves or maybe with a partner, not necessarily for an entire family, or at least a family with young kids. There are definitely a lot of great recipes in here and I rely on this a lot. I do a lot of my batch cooking from here. So if you watched the batch cooking before I did AIP, I had a lot of things like the sausages and the cherry barbecue sauce and stuff like that. Those were all from this book. This book, Nourished, I believe it's under a different name now, maybe like the Paleo Healing Cookbook or something. This is by Rachel Bryant, and this one's been great too. This one's better for families as well as if you're doing it by yourselves, just because there's some more family-friendly kind of meals in here. I've really liked the things that I've gotten out of here. The Autoimmune Wellness Handbook, it's kind of part handbook about autoimmune disease and then part cookbook. So there's not really a lot of recipes in here per se. This is more meant for like if you've just been diagnosed with autoimmune disease or if you're really interested in using diet and lifestyle as an approach to your autoimmune disease. This is a great book for that. And then there's some recipes in the back. They do have meal plans and everything too, but there's just not a ton of recipes. However, the lemon pie date balls are some of my favorite things. And there are a few other recipes in here that are pretty good. Simple French Paleo by Sophie Van Tiegelen of A Squirrel in the Kitchen. This one's been great too. I think this one's a great one for families as well as if you're by yourself, just because there's quite a few recipes in here that you can make for everyone. And this is the one where I get the crepes from, where I make all those wraps. And I mean, just that itself is worth it for this. And then there's the Healing Kitchen. And if you've been watching me through these days, you know that I've been cooking out of here a lot. And that's because this is a great book for all around. If you have a family, there's a lot of kid-friendly recipes in here. There's also a lot of recipes that are just great if you're by yourself. And there's a lot of comfort kind of recipes as well as healing, nourishing kinds in them. And so this one's been my favorite of all the books that I've gotten. This was not out last time I did AIP, so I've been very excited about it to try it. And I've gone through so many recipes in here. But if you're doing AIP for the first time, this is the book that I would recommend you get. I mean, it's got appetizers, snacks, meals, sides, desserts, all kinds of stuff in it. And it's just, it runs the gamut of everything that you may want to have, some sauces, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I recommend this book out of all of them so far. It's not that the other books are bad or anything, I love them all, but if you can only afford one book or if you only want to get one book because you're going to be doing this for a short amount of time, get this book. Okay, on to what I've been eating. Before I start, I do have to mention that every single night I have a cup of chicken stock that I've warmed up and I drink it in a cup. I keep forgetting to mention this just because it's not in the pictures of the things that I've taken, so I had forgotten, and if I don't have it in there, then I just totally forget about it. But I do that every night. Typically I have a little splash of lemon juice and some pink Himalayan sea salt in it, and I just drink it warm, like a coffee kind of drink, and it's really good. I love drinking it out by the fire pit at night now that it's been getting warmer. All right, so last Friday I told you I had no idea what I was gonna make for dinner, so I wound up making that rosemary prosciutto stromboli from the Healing Kitchen, as well as some roasted broccoli with some garlic. And it was a little hard because I made my family French fries because I knew they would mutiny on me if I made them garlic on picnic night, our movie picnic night. I had the broccoli and I didn't implode, so it's okay, I guess. Saturday morning for breakfast, I made myself those cassava flour pancakes that I'm still perfecting the recipe. I served that with some maple syrup, some fresh strawberries and blueberries, and one of those apple sage sausages that I had made in batch cooking prior to doing this AIP. Saturday for lunch, I just had a leftover stromboli. Saturday for dinner we had patacones, which are twice fried green plantains, as well as grilled shrimp that we had put garlic and some herbs on, and I can't remember what the heck the herbs were because my husband did all this, as well as some grilled red onion and pineapple. Sunday morning for breakfast, I had a little bit left over of that carrot cake and oatmeal from the Healing Kitchen, so I served that up with one of the pancakes. So on Sunday morning after breakfast, we decided to go do a hike-fishing excursion in the mountains, and so we scrambled to get it all together, and I didn't have time to make the crepes for the wraps that I usually do, so instead I had some leftover chicken and grilled sweet potato, so I diced those up into bite-sized pieces, and then I mixed that together with some diced radishes and some fresh blueberries and some cilantro, and then an avocado mayo. The recipe's from the Healing Kitchen as well. And then just made that into like a chicken salad of sorts. I added some salt too, and put that into a Tupperware container and put some ice packs around it to keep it cold. I did have some more AIP carob chip cookies that I had made on Saturday just because I needed more, just, you know, I've been going out so much. So I packed another one of those, and then I brought some cassava chips as a side. While we were there, my husband caught a trout, so we cooked that up on the little backpacking stove that we have, and we just cooked it up with some olive oil and some fresh thyme and oregano, and it was really good. The skin was so good. That was a snack, and then it was a 4-mile hike to get to the lake and back, most of it uphill on the way there and downhill on the way back, so I was kind of hungry by the time we got back, and it was also 7:30, so I had some tropical fruit trail mix kind of thing. It was just tropical fruit that was dried. My family stopped on the way home to get burgers and fries, and then we came home and I made one of my paleo on the go meals, which was the beef taco kit. And this was 9:15 at night when we were eating dinner. It was kind of crazy. But one good thing about not being reliant on sugar is that I could go that long and not be like a basket case. And I really like that part of, you know, not being on that sugar roller coaster for sure. So all I had with the tacos that night was the tortillas, the shredded beef, and then the salsa verde, which was a AIP one, but it tasted like there was chilies in it. It was great. I really like that. And then Monday for breakfast, I had leftover of the pancakes and another apple sage sausage with some dandelion root and chicory root coffee. For lunch, the beef taco kit from Paleo on the Go is actually a 2-person one, so I was able to have the rest of it as my lunch. So that time I just added some arugula and some diced radishes as well. And then I served it up with the leftover patacones, which I had heated up in the toaster oven. And then for dinner on Monday night, it was Memorial Day. So my husband smoked ribs. He smoked theirs normally with like all the seasoning and everything that he puts on in the mustard and whatever. And he just did mine with salt. And then afterwards, I had some of that cherry barbecue sauce that I had made in batch cooking prior to AIP. And so I just defrosted that and then poured it over, and it was great. Like, I had no idea that I was not eating normal ribs. They were delicious. I made up a little bit of a coleslaw with some shredded cabbage, raisins, and more of that avocado mayo. And then we also roasted some Brussels sprouts with some avocado oil and salt, and then add a little balsamic vinegar at the end. And then this morning for breakfast, I had a leftover sweet potato from the stromboli, the white sweet potatoes. So I just mixed that up with 1 banana, some collagen powder from Perfect Supplements, and then a little bit of coconut milk, and just mashed it all together with an immersion blender and made another sweet potato bowl. And I topped that with some fresh strawberries, blueberries, shredded coconut, and a little bit of crumble of banana chips. And I also served that with another apple sage sausage. And then for lunch today, I'm just having leftover ribs and Brussels sprouts. And for dinner tonight, I'm gonna be making a roast chicken and mashed cauliflower. Even though tomorrow marks 30 days of this AIP effort, I'm not gonna stop vlogging about it. I'll still continue to share my meals and everything with you. And I'll probably start the reintroductions, like I said, at 6 weeks. And I will definitely share those with you because it can be a little tricky sometimes when you're doing this and understanding what constitutes a reaction and things. So I'm gonna guide you through all of that. But remember, hit like if you like this because it really helps me to understand if you wanna see more of this. And you can always comment and let me know as well. And subscribe if you wanna see more.